right, everybody, here it is. We have a special announcement to make today. This is not your normal podcast. This is just a quick announcement. Uh, there is a new song coming out, a new collaboration. Love to collaborate with some of these musicians out here in Arizona. And one of the ones that has been on my show before and has done so much in music, film, everything else. You can also watch the podcast that Tony was originally on and learn more about him. But boy, the music that he does and everything that he has done in his time really made it easy as a choice for him to collaborate on a song with me. So, Tony, welcome. And let's talk about what we did.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, there you go. So here's what we did. So I had a song years ago. This song was probably written some 20 years ago. And it was actually just music. There was no lyrics to it. The funny thing of the song is we didn't even have a name for it because there was no lyrics. And it was just called, I was looking through my CDs from the studio work that we had done. And there was a CD that was listed as DAE. And I'm like, what? I have no idea what this is. And then I popped it in, and it was in my Pro Tools, and it was the song, and that I'd never put lyrics to or never did anything with, and thought, okay, I'd
I'm glad you
really
said
like to
CD.
get
I'm
some.
glad you said CD and didn't say like cassette tape or something like that, or eight
Yeah,
track.
I,
No,
I do have some on 4-track.
do you? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember. I remember
yeah,
using that shit and then bouncing the
right,
tracks and flipping the tape over,
yeah,
all that stuff.
exactly.
Hey, okay,
Yeah.
so not to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, so we were I started thinking about kind of like almost like a jukebox hero type of a thing. But I started thinking about all of these musicians out there who, there's so many great musicians out there that really don't have that push to go ahead and try to make it. They're just kind of happy playing around in their practice space, and really don't know if they want to really get out there and try to do something. But the music industry certainly has changed over the years. But in this case, I thought of like all of these musicians who can get out there because they are really talented people and should be able to get out there. And then I came up with this concept of, hey, it's a gamble. Music business obviously is a gamble. And I came up with this concept of gamble. And then I put it together. I sang on it. I did it all. And I just wasn't happy with it. And I shelved it for a long time. And
20
now
years,
come,
man. 20 years.
yeah,
That's a long
years.
time.
Yeah. And now come up to now, I was going through all of the things that I had on CD and looking through my Pro Tools, and I found the song again. And I was like, man, I would really love to do something with this thing, but I think it needs to be updated. It needs a little bit of difference, something different, something modern, and maybe even something kind of, I don't know, hip hoppy, whatever we can do. And then the first person I thought of was, of course, you. And I thought, this guy can do it. If anybody can put something together and help me out on this, definitely would be Tony. So I'm glad that you accepted my invitation to check it out. And then you actually ended up doing some really good stuff to it. So I'd like you to kind of take it over from here and just tell me what you did. Tell everyone what you did with the song.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, thank you for thinking of me. I'm always honored when somebody even says that or suggests, hey man, do you want to, I get a lot of offers like that. And there was a time, and I always bring this up, and I used to bring it up on my live shows and shit, that there was a time I'd get auditions and I wouldn't get picked, or I wouldn't get, I couldn't even like find a band. And I was recording, demos over their music or singing and give it to them, and then I never get chosen. And there was another one where this distribution label deal was happening, and they were between two singers, and I recorded one. I did an album. I wrote the whole album, which was probably 10 or 11 songs, maybe even 12. But I wrote the whole thing in 2 weeks, and then went and just recorded it in 2 days. All of everything, every song. It was just insane. And we did some shows, and the label was trying to. I think it was in Europe or something like that. But anyway, it was down to me and another guy, and and they ended up picking the other guy. And it was funny because
Mm.
the drummer was like, "Well, screw that guy, screw those guys. I'm going with you." You know, he enjoyed. We liked rocking out together, so we formed Crazed, a band, and started up with that. So, but anyway, my point is like it was a time when it was just like, man, just can never catch a break or get anybody to even ask me to do something. So now I'm grateful every time that happens. So I was very pleased. I always listen to anything that people send me. I've had that as well so many times that I sent it out and, hey, did you listen to that? Oh, you know, I haven't been able to, or you get blown off. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just don't listen to your stuff. So I make it a point to listen, you know, whether I like it or not. I listen to everybody's stuff that they send me and give my opinion, honest opinion if they want it. And that
Mhm.
was cool that you asked me about doing that. So, so yeah, so you know, I mean, it had a cool groove to it, and I thought this could be kind of cool. And you know, your pipes were definitely decent on it. You know, you were hitting it, and you were like, "Hey, I'll do the chorus, and you do the verses." And I said, "Oh, that'll be kind of interesting. Let's hear how that sounds." So, um, I'm glad that it went the route that it did. For everybody that's listening, I kind of, you know, I said, let's maybe we should just re-record it and rebuild the music because it sounded like a live version. And it was kind of like if you listen to Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction, they didn't have click tracks. They didn't have you know, they just had Steven on the drums back there swinging to the beat. Sometimes he'd speed up and sometimes he'd slow down. And I've gotten to be this metronome guy that's, you know, I really studied on it. And every time I record, I make sure I have that click going so that I'm playing in time and all that stuff. So this was kind of like I reached out to you and said, hey, man, you know, it's a little swingy here and there and fast and slow. Maybe we should redo it. But, you know, the drums on there are really cool. And I'm like, man, I can't even like, we're not going to find somebody to play it like that. And I could program drums, but it wouldn't be the same. It's just got a killer groove on it. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that it was like, you know, let's just go with what we have. And
Yeah.
so so yeah, I took that, and I've been producing music in my studio for a while now. So this was something that, you know, I heard some stuff in there. You said you wanted to change the, you know, the guitar solo was really long, so I kind of went through and pulled out the parts. And I just did this. I wasn't sure, you know, for everybody listening. I just did it like this is what I hear. This might be kind of cool, and then I sent it back to you and said, you know, I shortened the solo, and I just kind of grabbed the best pieces I thought of the lead, and then moved them around and tried to piece them
Mhm.
together. So I ended up doing that. I ended up adding some guitars to it. There's some areas where it was a one guitar deal going on. So once the
Mhm.
guitars would drop out, I added some in the background and some for a little flavor. I think during the verses, and then yeah, it was fun. So uh, taking the lyrics too that you already had written for those, or I guess I'm assuming you wrote those, right? You
Yeah.
did all that, okay?
Mhm.
So yeah, and then I made some suggestions, which you were very cool with. About wasn't a lot. I mean, there was a couple of just words here and there that I wanted to. Sometimes you got to create some space to give the vocals some dynamics, and just take some thes or ands or you know a couple of these things out of there and give it a little more poetic sound to it. And
Mhm.
so that helped. That helped with I think for some things. And then you had mentioned you wanted to put a cool rap thing there in there, and I did hit up my son to do that, and he's got so much going on. He's got you know his band that he's trying to break right now and get a gig together with them. They got a show booked, and he
Mhm.
was just like, "Man, I can't do it." So I do a little rapping myself, yo, what up,
Yeah.
all, yo, and yeah, I've been known to do that. So anyway, yeah, I've done rap actually. I used to do God, what the fuck was that song? It was a Luke Skywalker band, if you remember that. Me So Horny and all those songs of the
Oh,
past. Do
yeah.
you remember that? Me So
Okay. Yeah.
Horny,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there was
Right.
one, and then there was one, Get the Fuck Out of My House. There was another song that they, and we used to do that live, and I would rap that. And yeah, if anybody heard that song, go look that up. It's kind of funny. It's like telling the lady get out in the morning. He's just get the fuck out, you know. So so anyway, yeah, I've been doing rapping for a while. I love it. Love some rap music, and you know, not all of it, but a lot of it's really good. And that was cool. So I just went ahead and did it, and I said I'll just take care of it, and was able to change up the voice a little and put on
Mhm.
the rap voice, you know, and then did some screams, and then it was cool that that you know I had suggested you doing you know the chorus again or the chorus, and you had recorded the chorus, and I what did I ask? I asked you for a harmony or for a double or
Double. Yeah. Just double
a
the track.
double.
Not. Yeah. Sing over the original. Yeah.
Yeah, so just do another one, and then that fattened it up a little bit in there.
Right.
So I think it turned out really cool, and I did back off a lot, because you had said about the some of the effects on there,
Hmm.
and I did have some on there, but a lot of what that double did, it gives it that off kind of stereo
Yeah.
widening sound, and so anyway, I thought it turned out really cool. You did a good job on that. So I think that's everything, unless I'm missing it. It was just that, and I gave it a little mastering and mastered it a little bit and come
Right.
up with a pretty cool track. I think.
Yeah, I think the song, just so everybody understands what the song is, it starts out basically about a guitar player who is just kind of happy, what we call fiddling around with his guitar, and he's fine with that. He just doesn't know if he can take it further. But then, as he's thinking about it, he's like, "Well, maybe can I? Can I do something with that?" And then, of course, his conscience, which is me in this sense, his conscience keeps telling him, "Hey, take a shot, take the gamble. You got to get out there. You can do it. Make it happen." And it keeps kind of coming into his head. And then there is that part in the middle where you just start, kind of rapping on about, yeah, I think I could do this. I'm gonna take a shot at it. I'm gonna go. You're going through this whole thing, and then you make it. The guitarist makes it and gets out there, and the conscience is like, hey, told you. You took it, you did it. No more living day to day, and you did your thing. You listened to your conscience, and it told you what to do, and kind of hope that that message sort of gets out to people in the sense that you can do what you really put your mind to. The music business is really difficult, but the term making it is what I think a lot of people misunderstand. The truth of the matter is, me, you, all of the people that I have probably already interviewed, we've all made it. We've been in the music business. We have original music out there. We get out there and entertain people. We put out music. We do things that for us, we've made it. Doesn't mean making it doesn't mean I'm going to be famous. I'm going to win a Grammy. I'm going to, get tons of money. We make it by doing what we do and loving what we do. So
Right.
in my mind, we all made it. And I
Yeah.
hope that
No,
message gets out to people.
yeah, and it's true. And I don't think I think a lot of people are, because the dream is, the music videos, especially of the '80s. You had the chicks and the cars. You had the hot
Mhm.
chick in the car and the Lamborghinis and all that stuff, and the money, the big house, the cribs, and all, all that stuff they put on there. And that was, I mean, that's the dream. And then, I think you're reaching for that, and you're always wanting and wishing that. And I don't think a lot stop and look around. A lot of us, and I being one of them. It was like, you want to go further, and I push myself, and it's a funny thing that when you ask the universe for what you want, you have to repeat what you want, or and it usually answers yes, to you
Mhm.
what your surrounding is. So if you're saying, man, you know what, I'm going nowhere, I'm doing nothing, it goes, yeah, you are. you know and that's what it gives you back. So if you do go, man, I'm making progress, I have a good life, I have, I'm playing out, people come to the shows, yes, you are, you've done well. So I
Right.
think making it, and some of those people that have made it, per se, that I think you see it with the big pans and see them on MTV and all that stuff. There's always that behind the music story that
Mhm.
shit didn't go exactly like the dream. That's why they call it the dream, right? 'Cause
Right.
it's kind of a dream. It doesn't go like that. People get ripped off. Their manager sold the money. The band breaks up. Everybody's on drugs. They go into rehab, and then always at the end of the behind the music, they go, "Well, they've been touring for 20 years since then, and they're doing great." And they always end it on a high note. It's like Bar Rescue. It's the same shit.
Right.
After 2 days, he's going, "All right, I gotta leave. It's a good thing. The bar's perfect."
Exactly.
So yeah, so I thought it was, I finally got that because I watched behind the music, and I was like, God, I gotta, I didn't see all the crap in the middle of the show. That was all the crap
Mhm.
of the band going through, and I just saw the end again. Oh, they've been doing it, and that's the dream. But I realize music business is hard, and I think everybody who's gotten into it and has succeeded had struggles,
Oh
had
yeah.
problems, had maybe weren't where you wanted to be, and all that other crap that we all think about. But
Right.
just being grateful, and that's where I'm at today. I agree with you. Like, be grateful. I'm grateful that I can go out and play. I'm grateful I can still sing, that I have a voice that people like. And
Right.
They're not out there throwing tomatoes and cringing and whatever. That people come out to actually hear me perform and my band and all that. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's a great thing to get out there and do that. And I love the song message on that too. I love that. That take a chance out there, take a gamble. The fact that it is a gamble that you're taking a chance to go out there see what happens. So yeah, good job on that, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you jumping in so quickly and doing that. Like, like I said before, there's a lot of people who, you reach out to and they're like, oh, I'm busy. I don't have the time, or it's not my style or whatever, things like that. But yeah, you jumped in. It's our first collaboration together. And I was really impressed with it, really happy with it. Hopefully we can do something in the future again. But,
Yeah,
you know,
and
uh,
I think that happens too with. I think it's better if you have somebody say it's not my style, or I think you probably want somebody who's into it.
yeah,
And that was some I could hear the groove going on. I'm like, all right, this is doable for me. And there are I've had those too where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it worked for me.
right,
You probably find some, but it was meant to be on this one. It was one that definitely
right.
caught my groove. So I appreciate you asking me to do it. And yeah, when I hear it and I feel it, I'm like, all right, jump on this, let's do it. Because then all the creative juices are flowing. It's
Yeah,
like I got to get that out now while it's happening. So
right. Yeah.
I was
Well,
glad we were able to do it.
yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So the name of the song is "The Gamble." It will be out shortly. We'll be putting out the links as soon as it comes out. It should be coming out any day now. As soon as it comes out, we will get the links out there to everybody to see. There will hopefully in the near future, maybe we get some kind of video together on it. But we'll see what we can do with that. But
But
until now,
everybody listen, give it a listen, put the link
yeah,
out for now, and let us know what you think. I mean, unless you completely hate it, you don't have to say anything. Just don't say it at all.
yeah.
I always tell people
I
that if
would
you don't like
definitely
it,
say it's different. The style that's going to be interesting is what people are going to think about the style, because it is mixing the classic rock with a little bit of the rap, hip hop kind of thing. Not full rap, but a totally different style. And I think that's what's so great about it. It just sounds so different than what's out there now. That hey, you're gonna love it or you hate it, but let's see what they do. Let's see what they say about it.
yeah, no, I always kid with that. I go, if you don't like my work, just you don't have to say anything. Don't comment.
There you go.
But let me know if you like it. But no, I think people are gonna like it. I think they're at least gonna, and not everybody. You can't get everybody to like what you do,
Right.
100%. But that's fine. If people can listen to it and they get something out of it and it stirs some emotions and gets them tapping their foot, then we did our job.
Exactly, exactly. And the job that you did with it by cutting it, making the solos shorter, changing the things around was really what it needed. It was always that piece that was missing, and I thank you for filling that void that was missing. Because now I listen to it and I'm like, this is a song now, whereas before it was kind of like the beginning of one. So it's great to get two different. Kind of set of ears on it and two different perspectives on it. And I think together we collaborated nicely on it and did a great job. So again, thank you.
There you go, and you can do the big promo on it. You can just go, 20 years in the making. The gamble coming at you
Right.
soon. You know,
There you go.
20 years in the
Exactly.
making for one
Right.
song. See, Axl Rose, it took him a whole album for 20 years. It's one song. So you should have a whole album by what? By the time you're 92?
I know. Right. Exactly.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I got tons of music on my hard drives. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah.
I start them and I don't finish them, so I got a bunch. It happens
Oh, yeah. I
always.
know that feeling. I still have more. So we'll see.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
cool, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
man.
Thanks again. And for everybody else, watch for The Gamble coming out shortly featuring Tony Noyes. And we will get it out there as quickly as possible. So thank you. Thank you, Tony. And thank you all for listening. And let us know what you think of the song when it comes out. Thank you.